Hi everyone, so we have less than 60 days left in the year, so I thought I would do the end of year book tag. It was originally created by Ariel Bissett. I will link this year's video down below so you guys can go check it out. It's an oldie but a goodie and it comes around every year, and I felt like this was the perfect time. So first question, are there any books you've started this year and need to finish? Other than the ones I'm currently in the middle of, no. The ones I have started, I have determined that I'm not going to finish them. Either I've given up on them completely or I put them back on the shelf and I'll try again when the mood strikes me. Do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? I feel like the answer to this should be The Secret History by Donna Tartt. But for whatever reason, I always feel like I need to pick the perfect time to read it. I'm slightly intimidated to start it. So I'm going to say that, but I don't know if I will actually get to it. Is there a new release you're still waiting for? Honestly, no. I feel like all of the books that I'm really interested in this year have already come out. There are definitely 2022 releases that are coming out. But over the next couple of weeks, I think we have 6 weeks left until Christmas, there isn't too much coming out. I think in general, publishing is pretty slow from like the second week of November through the start of the new year. And then it speeds back up after New Year's. I think this is done intentionally because it makes sense that you would want to have all of your bestsellers out in time for all of the major awards, and their cutoff dates are usually in the fall for the ones that have a cutoff date in the fall. Also, it makes sense to me that they would do this too because you want those books to be out and ready and shoppable for Christmas. And the Christmas season shopping, for some people, starts after Thanksgiving. For other people, they've already began. So that makes sense to me. And then you would start revamping it in January because you've got all those people with gift cards, right? So to me that makes sense. I don't tend to find a lot of really good releases that I'm super excited for in November and December. Traditionally, in some years there's been one or two, but this is one of the years where it hasn't. And that might also be a supply chain thing because I did notice that there were a lot of releases that were pushed to next year. What are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? Oh, I should have prepped for this, but I'll just put pictures. The Secret History by Donna Tartt is definitely on the list. I want to reread The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodore Zagas because I want to continue in this series. And I want to read, I'm trying to decide what thriller I really want to read before the end of the year. And, oh, hold on, I need to look this up. One sec. Okay, so this one was recently published like in August. And that is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. I think that this, A, is a good fall book because it's supposed to be a campus vibe at, I believe, a college reunion, so this should be fun. 2, spooky atmosphere and limited amount of people who would have motive because I like an isolated, closed circle, locked room mystery. And so I think this is the one I really want to get to before the end of the year. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite read of the year? Ooh, so my favorite read of the year right now is between 2 books. Both of them are 4 stars. I have not had a 5-star read that was not a reread this year. And my 5-star read was a read from last year, so I don't know if I could count it as my favorite book twice. So it would have to be between 2 of the 4 stars. And so definitely there are books that could, I wouldn't say surprise me, because I do think The Secret History could be up there. Any of the 3 I just listed, The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, especially if I liked it more than I did the first time. I don't mind putting a book on that I've read for a second time if it brought something new upon the reread. But in terms of like new books I haven't read, yes, there are definitely 3 books that I just listed that could make it. Which is also why I don't understand why people post their end of year content in December, and they start like December 5th, my favorite books of the year. I'm like, and I'm thinking, do you not read any books from December 4th through the 31st? Because your favorite book could be your last book of the year, and you could finish it on New Year's Eve. It's always why I get a little confused when they post their favorite books of the year early. Because I'm thinking, oh, that's a sad December. You didn't read a book. And then, last question, have you already started making reading plans for next year? Concrete plans, no. I'm kind of in like the thinking of things stage. I do think I want to attempt 100 books again next year. This year, right now, I'm on track based on like what I've read in November to get to about 25 books for the year, which would mean I read more in the last 2 months of the year than I read in the rest of the year combined, or equal to it. So it'd be like 12 books the front half and then 13 November, December. I had an off year. Really, I think the last 2 years have been an off year. I'll have to go back and look at all my statistics. But yes, I've started thinking about things, especially since I've gotten back into like the habit of finishing books. Because I've DNF'd so many things. And I know a lot of people count DNFs toward their reading goals. And I do to an extent when I make the definitive decision to DNF. However, a lot of times when I DNF a book, I don't make the definitive decision to DNF it. I just stop picking it up. So there was never a concrete, yeah, this isn't for me. Sometimes it's we'll put it back on the shelf and try again. And then other times it's like a library book and it gets returned. I'm like, oh, I'll get that back out. And then I never do. And so it's a subconscious stopping of the book, but not a conscious effort to stop the book. So I want you, and I asked in my last video, but if you have a book that you're like, my favorite book of the year, hands down, or easily top 3, let me know, because I have not found that book this year. And I'm hoping that my last 2 years, I finally get a 5-star read of the year, because I'm missing that. And everybody should have at least one 5-star book that they read this year. And I hope y'all are doing well. And if you've already done the tag or want to, feel free to link your video down below. I'd love to check it out. And I will see y'all later. Bye, y'all.